Collective. Welcome, welcome. I'm Nikki, your local vegan terrorist. So, yesterday, I didn't box up or bag up. I have my satchels for my cards. Well, of course, they all just went to flying, and so when I opened the passenger door, some flew out on the ground, so I had to pick those up, and there's still some down on the floorboard. But I have all this stuff here that kind of makes it a pain. Anyway, I was not in the mood to dig for those, and because they've all fallen on the floor, I'm going to have to disinfect them, I guess. So I'm working with what is remaining here. So it's not, they're not all full decks. But maybe somebody's feeling like that. Like, maybe I'm not the full package. Maybe somebody's doubting whether or not they have all the cards. Or maybe somebody's withholding cards, right? Maybe it's the feminine, a lot of the feminine deck fell. So, and I was just watching How to Be Single, and the sister in there could be a close bond with a sister involved here with you or your person. But the sister, she's a hyper independent doctor. She's an OBG. Young. But anyway, she is, she deals with a younger man. And she has this resistance, the scene that I came in on, because I've seen the movie a bunch of times, so most of the time it's just kind of like a background noise. With some of those movies I've seen several times, they're just like an easy watch. Also, that is something that people with anxiety often do, is they go to the familiar, because the unfamiliar brings anxiety. So, not that watching new movies is necessarily anxiety inducing, but there have been a lot of triggers around me the last few days. It's been pretty rough in the last few days. I witnessed a friend getting bullied, and then I witnessed a friend be a bully, all in the same day. And there's been a sense of being tracked, very predatory energy. So anyway, there is it's an attack. I've been through them many times, my entire life, and maybe you felt like that. But anyway, and maybe that's why there is this very guarded wall around you. But I think that it's in the movie, the part that I came in on, she's talking with a baby. She's like, "Shut up, baby," because she delivers babies. She's in close proximity, very close proximity to babies all the time when they first come in. But she denies wanting a baby. She's like, "I don't need a relationship. I don't need a baby. I have a fulfilling job," blah, 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 because she was cheated on. And so she has this wall and this defense, and she's even speaking out in a self-deceptive way, thinking she's, fooling the world by saying, "Oh, I don't want the things that I truly do want." She does want love. She wants a partner. It's exhausting to do it all alone, right? And she does want a baby. And so she's having this interaction with the baby, and the baby's like completely wooing her because it's the most adorable freaking baby in the world. Every baby is the most adorable baby. Well, not every baby, let's be real. But no, babies are beautiful. So maybe that's something that you are struggling with, and there's a need to accept that and just honestly say, "I want this." It's like owning up to your dreams, owning up to the things that you truly want. And that vulnerability is where your strength lies. Saying, "Yeah, I do want," people are like, "Oh, I don't want to date again. I don't ever want to date again." And I see them, not just on mine, but on other readers. People are like, I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to deal. It's like, well, nobody said anything about them, so you took it there. You took the messages there, which means, the readers don't know who they're talking about. That's for you to decide. It's for you to interpret with your intuition. These cards are all a mess. I probably should have done this before, but I'm sorting through it with you guys, and we'll just channel as we're doing that. Just winging it every day. And that's what everybody else is doing. Nobody has love figured out. Nobody has life figured out. You might have methods that make your, I was going to say modes of transportation. You might have, which is chariot energy, the heart space, the feminine aspect of the heart space, but the chariot is the masculine aspect of Cancer. So it's that cardinal aspect. It's the action. I feel chariot in reverse. Yeah, you got to be honest with your heart space. What do you actually desire? Because it's just odd that you would come into love readings and be like, I don't want love. Obviously you do. It's amazing that you would choose the profession of being an OB and say that you don't want babies, that you don't want them to be surrounded by them, or maybe just one, maybe you don't need a bunch of babies, but I think that's just a result on the feminine side. The feminine is presenting as a runner, 10 of Swords, it's self-deception, 10 of Wands, needing to lay down the self-deception because it's blocking your path. Because only when we alchemize a truth from our throat chakra can the higher frequencies, our higher chakras, activate, right? And we come from the ground up, right? The ground up, because we're all receiving, we're all conduits, and we're all receiving information. But if anything's blocked down below between us and the earth, we're electromagnetic between the sun and the earth, those messages are not going to conduct if we are, let's put the chariot in the upright there, if we are deceiving ourselves, if we're not speaking a truth, all right? And we know our truth. It's just a matter of speaking it. I let out some rage. I went to a drum circle the other night. I was vocalizing some stuff. I think I may have over vocalized because but I was vocalizing some truths into the ethers on the full moon, and yeah, my voice cracked toward the end. It was like, all right, I said all I needed to say. Now, of the Scrabble cards, somebody could have recently gotten some sort of injury on their hand or their foot, maybe a cut or something. But this card is UP, and it says up, right? Or I read it as up, but the U is upside down, right? So it's like somebody is stopping their ascension, their inner ascension, by being in denial. Denying her wounds came from the movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon. I believe she's an Aries. Denying her wounds came from the same source as her power. So yes, it was a protective mode, saying no to whatever you were dealing with, whatever did not serve you, infidelity, things that felt like lies. You almost had to lie, right? Because you're pretending that you didn't care. Of course you cared, and of course it hurt you, and it, broke your heart, and you felt deceived. And so, but it was like you took that deception and that mask that you had to wear as a coping mechanism to get through whatever you got through, to preserve your heart, your precious heart. but it became, it kind of devolved or evolved into something malignant, right? That's what cancer is in the body, right? It's our cells. They'll consolidate something that is not right, something that's not serving the cellular communication and efficacy of the body, right? And the cells will consolidate, all right? That's why it localizes, and we'll get cancer of a certain area, we'll get a tumor, we'll get something, and initially it's precancerous, right? It's like it comes in stages. The body is warning itself. And if you're listening, if you're tapped into that conversation with the body, right? Yoga, if you are tapped into the meditative practices that work for you so that you can have that conversation with the body and the mind, then you can get onto it and transmute it and work through it, because the body is trying to heal itself. It's helping you by creating this little pocket, so that these cells don't take over. But if you ignore that long enough, it's like self-deception. You're ignoring this truth. You're ignoring something that is affecting you in a way that is not conducive to your, I was going to say elevation, but then hierarchy. So there's something about like the hierarchy, which is like a sequence, right? And that also takes me back to going through the chakra work. It's always from the ground up. The feet are very important here. There's something with the feet. I think feet are very important. Got a bit of a foot health fetish. So if you know me, and whenever I teach classes, breath work, yoga, any kind of classes, I always start with the feet. Maybe somebody has sex with their socks on, or has like issues with intimacy, because you're not, so somebody's coming into a revelation here about this self-deception. They're having some sort of epiphany. We have the Maiden of Shields, right? This is the maidens, which I found out because I actually read the book on these. The maidens are the pages, which I love because the pages are typically depicted as masculine, but in this deck they're all depicted as feminine. But that's the deer, Maiden of Shields, so it's the Page of Pentacles. The deer is also Gemini. It's the Native American zodiac for Gemini. And it's also the Gemini is the lovers, and we have the lovers here. So clarifying the lovers, we have the Fool, Aries, Aquarius, the lovers and the Fool. Yeah, it's like you have to be a fool in love. I say this all the time, and I don't just say it for everybody listening, right? I'm conducting. Conductor, maybe something with music, conduction, an orchestra or symphony or something like that. The Maiden of Vessels, the Page of Cups with the Ace of Wands here. So this is a new, emotionally passionate, somebody is very emotionally passionate about coming towards this feminine, because we have this masculine looking at the world. You've changed this masculine's world, feminine. You don't even know it. Just by being your amazing self. You could wear a lot of natural textiles, organic fabrics, and things like maybe polyester, or you just have sort of like a tactile sensitivity to false fabrics, and so you're very authentic. I feel the feminines here are very authentic, and the masculines resonate with that authenticity. They are magnetized toward it. But there's also something inauthentic about the way that you deal with love, or the way that you receive love. I think maybe the feminine gives love very willingly, but they don't know how to receive it because they never have. Oh, I hate that. That is very common. Let's read from the masculine here. Ooh, they're like the Knight of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Yes, this feminine is, you have the capacity for unconditional love, but you've never received it. And you may have questioned, like, do I know how to love? Maybe it's me. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing here. No, you know what you're doing. And it just, the dark is always surrounding the light. That's how the light stands out. Queen of Wands with the Ace of Wands. This masculine views his feminine as being so magical. They are magic. They embody magic. Somebody could, practice witchcraft, paganism, spell work. They could call themselves a witch, a warlock, right? They could have all kinds of names for that. Maybe they don't with that right there in the throat chakra. Maybe they don't call themselves that, but that's the work that they're doing. But maybe like identifying or being labeled. They've probably been labeled a lot of things, but identifying with things, they're just like, I'm just me. This is just what I do. King of Cups. Yeah, this is like, I'm getting this masculine's kind of gushing over you. Maybe they're talking to people about you. Because the King of Cups doesn't say the King of Wands. They wanna meet you where you are. They want to bring an Ace of Wands. They want to like show you, like, they want to impress you. It's like you are the most prominent, famous, like you're almost like a celebrity version of what they are interested in and how they practice. And it's almost like they want to show you, like show and tell, like, watch what I can do. What's this? Stuart, don't do that. Watch what I can do. Look at me. It's like they want to impress this feminine. So they might be doing things very out of their own character, and people could be picking up on it, and they're like, man, I'm just crazy. Maybe they're talking to a man, or maybe they just call like everybody man or dude or bro or something. But anyway, they're like, I'm in over my head here. I think I'm going a little bit cuckoo for this feminine. 17 on the clock there, which is 8. It's like you've completely flipped the script for them. Maybe they've always kind of dabbled or been interested in things, but this masculine maybe never felt anybody that resonated with them, and they completely resonate with the feminine. And it's this, like, isn't that a movie, Resonance? Maybe I'm thinking of Transcendence with Johnny Depp. It's kind of like the male version of Lucy. Maybe the name's Lucy. John. Okay, they had this cinnamon toast, coffee, and vanilla, French vanilla. And then I use this nut pod. And I'm just saying, it's very good. Because the place where I wanted to get my coffee that has really good coffee, like fresh ground espresso, and oat milk, which is my favorite in the coffee, and it just is like the best. And I don't even have to add any sugar. That's how I really like it. But with gas station coffee or other coffees, they're not as rich, and I'm always adding sugar. Anyway, maybe you're having coffee right now, or maybe this person's going to ask you out for coffee or something. But maybe you're very particular. Anyway, it's very good. So I'm happy with it. Because, just things have been kind of like going wrong, so to speak. I know that they are detours, because the demonic detours they always inadvertently put you back on the divine path if you are in tune with that conversation. Other people who are not in tune with that will go, oh my gosh, all these things are happening to me. Once you are tapped in, things happen for you. They don't happen to you. They happen for you. You can either rise to the occasion or fall. That's a little bit heavy for a coffee, but but I'm in that mode now that if, when that place wasn't open, I was like, it was that building of, no, whoa, and it's Jim Carrey in the Christmas Carol or Christmas Story, the Scrooged story where he's, playing himself. It's like somebody's facing themselves and seeing like the woe is me, where he says that part where he's like, woe is me. So maybe somebody had this epiphany. Maybe they were in a victim mentality, or they were kind of self-sabotaging because they saw everything that happened around them as happening to them. They're very affected by it. But it rerouted, and I got to try a new flavor of coffee. So maybe that's important. It's like, this is something very new. It's a brand new flavor. Maybe this masculine wants to taste this feminine. There's no maybe about that. They do. But they could be very fascinated by your mouth. They want to kiss you. They want to taste you. And then they, of course, want to taste you in other ways, right? These are all 18 plus. So, yeah. Ace of Swords. Ace of Blades. Somebody could have some sort of like scar. They could be missing a finger or have some sort of like recent injury to the hand. I mean, this hand just looks contorted. You could just have the arthritis. The Silence. Four of Pentacles. Yes, this masculine is in deep thought. Because they're not just thinking. There's planning here as well. With Pentacles take investment, which means you have to plan for the future. This is somebody who's really, methodical about how they move. And they're okay in solitude, which is good. You want someone that's okay in solitude, because otherwise it's going to be codependent. You don't want anybody that needs you around. The movie, Rumor Has It. Could be a lot of rumors going on. I do feel like this collective here is under a lot of spiritual attack right now. So bear with it, and just remember, you are a powerful, divine alchemist, and you created this reality around you for a reason. You created and attracted and magnetized all this demonic interference, all of this lower vibration, all this gossip, rumors, whatever it is. You called it in, and you might be like, what? Why would I do that? Why would I do that to myself? Because you didn't say, oh, I want, everyone around me to be an asshole, gossiper, and pass rumors around about me, or be bullies, or, I didn't want those things. Well, no, you didn't want those things, but you manifested this union. You manifested this divine path. You had to heed the calling, and that's why you incarnated, was to pursue whatever this path was. So you don't get to decide what comes into it, but it's for that high calling, for that original investment. You're like, I want this. I want to buy this. You don't get to decide. You kind of just roll with the punches, right? Maybe somebody just got in a fight or something, or like maybe that's with the hands. Maybe somebody, fought a lot of their past. You could have like a lot of injuries to the hands from fighting or something, and maybe you just feel that way in your body. You're like, I'm tired. With the Nine of Wands, it's the wounded warrior. That's someone who's like been through a lot of battles, spiritual, physical, otherwise, mental, right? But you don't get to choose how you get the thing, how you get to the place. That's the manifestation. You're kind of like, let the cards fall where they may, and they will fall to the floor and onto the ground. And that is the Fool energy as well. Like, you don't get to decide. You just have to take the leap of faith. You have to trust that you are aligned, that you are true, that you're speaking truth, you see truth, you act in truth, you fight for truth. Once you know that, then you know that you're divinely protected. And that any of these little interferences, they're just a small nuisance, right? But if you're in that victim mentality, they are the most overwhelming thing. You not having your coffee, if you are, under this attack, and you get to a place, which is a very human place, right? We all get there. I had my woe is me, mini meltdown. I don't know. I have them so frequently. And then I'm like, okay, all is well. I'm divinely protected, la, la, la. But that's the meltdown. So you could be having like meltdowns with all that Cancerian energy. It's like, you could be like, what's the song? Only love can hurt like this? Is that the lyrics? Only love can can hurt like this. Also The Hobbit, where, she's like, if this is love, take it from me, I don't want it, or whatever. I don't know what she says exactly, but it could be a height difference or age difference. Because she is an elf, so she's probably much older than a dwarf. But yeah, maybe he's and in How to Be Single, Rebel Wilson, she's like, to the reason that the sister got cheated on, she says, the woman that he cheated on me with was willing to do other things, and Rebel Wilson goes, did it involve midgets? So maybe something with like a height difference or something. Somebody could be shorter, but and she's like, no. But and she goes, I once slept with an albino. So maybe there's like maybe somebody has a very identifying, with the scars. They could have like some sort of melanin, what is that called? They could have heterochromia, like the different eye colors. But what is that with the melanin where now alopecia is the only thing. They could have alopecia as well. Be hairless. Or have like streaks, like rogue, rebel, right? The letter R. These are kind of like rogue and rebel. Yeah, somebody is a rogue. Somebody's they're very individual. Because that's where you find that peace. The Chief of Pipes is the King of Wands, with the Queen of Wands here. And then you both are very tapped into doing solitary work. I think your meditation practices are quite strong. We have Death here with Scorpio and the High Priestess, so a lot of water energy. We've got all the water signs out, right? The Chariot, Death, and the High Priestess. So a lot of dream work as well. This person could be dreaming of you. You could be dreaming of each other, but you are their dream person. The Council Chief, that one is the Emperor. Yeah, I just read this. We got the Ram here. Also falcons, hawks, feathers, birds of prey. You could be the year of the, not the year. The owl is Sagittarius in Native American zodiac. Also, you could be like your Celtic zodiac could be the owl or a bird of prey. But yeah, with the Ram here, the 4. This motherfucker looks high. Look at his face. He's like, hey. You kind of make them for sugar, how you get so high. Sugar, how you get so high. Like, how do you do that? They think you're so impressive, and even though it's like Avatar, the Way of Water, even though there's this very powerful water chief, right? So you could have strong fire and water placements. But this water chief of this whole tribe, he's like a badass. He's a warrior. He's very strong. But he's also kind of, like a kid, and he's playful. And he says, I'm not the one that you need to ask. She is. Whatever she is. I don't know what they call her, what her name is. But Kate Winslet plays her. Jack Black would argue that her name is Kate Blanchett. So maybe the name's Jack, the color black, things that rhyme, right? That could be a synchronicity for you when you hear a lot of alliterations or rhyming words. You could work through poetry. But it's like incantations as well. But anyway, she's the chieftress. Oh gosh, what is her name? I don't know what her name is in the movie, but she's a Sagittarius, I believe. That's crown chakra. It's like you're very much connected with the High Priestess. Somebody is like a direct conduit and a direct pipeline of information. I'm seeing the letter P here with my shifter. PRNDM. So maybe something with that. Also, the Man in Black, Johnny Cash. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. Yeah, you're tempted by your own shadows, some kind of past nature about you. You're being very tempted or drawn out. We were talking about anger yesterday and how those emotions that are lower emotions, they have a lower vibration, but they're very useful. If you tap into them, they can rise up and make change. Anger makes great change if you don't just let it stir inside. So maybe that's kind of, you're nervous because these lower emotions are being triggered and activated by other things around you. That means something needs to change. That means that work is to be done. And you called these tasks in to do this work because you and this person, King of Swords, are going to be very powerful. You're going to make great change. Counting coup, the Seven of Wands. We have the Seven of Wands both times. It's like the feminine was running in the Seven of Wands in the feminine deck, wherever she went. Shouldn't take me too long. It's only like a third of a deck here. But in this one, the feminine is running away. And in this one, it's like the masculine's coming after them. And not in a weird way. The number 7, though. 7. Monica, friends. So dark-haired females could be play a role here, right? They could be a friend, a sister, a mentor. Could be this feminine here, or masculine, however you go with that. But it's like they're willing to fight. They're willing to fight because they recognize the power and they know, like, this is like their long-awaited cue from the universe, from the divine, to activate. And I think maybe the masculine was just sort of operating in some lower chakras and some lower frequencies, and now it's like this feminine. That's kind of what happens in a twin flame journey, is the feminine will activate the masculine, because the masculine is meant to bring this union into the 3D and protect it in the 3D. They are the ruler of the 3D. But when you are so in the 3D and fixated on the 3D, right, you can become quite hedonistic. You get all the 5 senses, right? Until that feminine comes in, you interact, you lock eyes. You lock lips. Maybe you've already kissed this person. If not, they really want to. Like, the kissing is going to be like a soul tie. There's going to be a direct bond made that's undeniable when you do kiss this person. But they want to be like in an eternal lip lock with you. I also get like whispering into each other's mouths. There's like secrets that you're whispering. And that could be, I mean, literal. You could, while you're making love or while you're just cuddling or whatever, you might talk like almost mouth to mouth, like you're talking right here. And that can also be things unsaid, right? Like you're whispering telepathically as you're speaking here. So it's like when you two interact, you're not really, it's not that you're not listening, like, oh, I'm not listening to them. You're not listening to the words here. You're understanding and understanding the frequency that's like whispered below the words. That's the only way that I can really describe what I'm trying to describe. Below the words, then that's where the truth comes out. And maybe that's like a disguise, like people who speak in tongues or whatever. If you buy into whatever all that. It's a secret language. You have like a secret language. You have almost like a secondhand 16. That's Aurora, right? Maybe something with Aurora Borealis, right? 16 is 7. So 7s are very important here with apples. There are 16 apples. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Maybe somebody's a doctor here, or, you know, works in the medical field with the apples here. The apples also represent temptation, right? Like, this person is going to fulfill your lower chakra. This person is going to activate and fulfill your lower chakras, your very human chakras and desires and shadows, as well as, and most importantly, your higher ones, right? It's going to be the whole shebang, the whole kit and caboodle. What are those? Polly Pockets? That's a very specific throwback. But Polly Pockets and spiders. I used to have a little, because it was the generic or whatever version, the off-brand version of Polly Pockets. I think it was called Kit and Caboodles. And I had a little house, and I remember I took a wood spider. I put it in there and took it to class for show and tell. Anyway, but the spiders represent the web that is crafted by the high priestess. So it is a creator. 357. 357. Those prime numbers, right? Prime. The movie Prime is really good. Maybe you're watching something on Prime, and like if you're in the middle of a show, or if you watch Prime, this one was trying to come out earlier, which I'll get to. The Little Mermaid and the Four Seashells. Maybe the name Sally, or the letter S is important here, but 4 is also major here. 16 prime numbers they're only divisible by themselves or by 1. 16 is divisible by 4, which is 4. 4 times 4. So it is the divine union, the 1111. It could be life path 4, but it is that union. But spiders, alchemize, Charlotte, pigs, these could be symbols for you. Ariel and Aurora. Those could be names, the letter A. You know, the Disney princesses, they all sing. So one of you could be a musician or sing. A frog could be important. Could be an important symbol. Yeah. Okay, so I always, with Cinderella, it's like, there's a meme where it says, you know, oh yes, Prince Charming or something, like he couldn't recognize her without makeup or something, you know. What a dumbass, basically. Like, he had to go around trying on a shoe because he couldn't recognize the love of his life without makeup. Something like that. So I put that back because that's what I thought of, and I feel like that's past energy, that you were in some kind of union where someone never saw you. They didn't see you, they didn't know you, they're just like, I'm a prince. I was born into this. That's not an emperor. A prince is born into being a prince. A king is born into being a king. You know, it's like, that's just an ancestral cycle. You're just getting hand-me-downs and you're not doing anything with it. An emperor breaks away and they alchemize from every kingdom, right? That's why they are the culmination of all. The magician is also 4, right? Right? Maybe that isn't the emperor. I thought the coyote was the magician. Y'all are just gonna go on this little learning journey. Trying to retain new information is like, okay, that is the magician. But 4 is like the alchemist. Council chief. It is the emperor. Okay. I don't know why that was a question. I mean, the Emperor and the Empress are both divine alchemists. They're both magicians. So, tomato, right? And looking at these apples, as I say, tomato. So maybe tomatoes are important as well. Let's pull from here. Energy centers. Maybe the name's Austin, Roy, throat. We just pulled throat yesterday, I think. Ooh. Bass. It's all about that bass, no treble. Yeah, maybe this is a very curvaceous feminine. The masculine likes it. They like all the curves. They like however your body looks, they like it, okay? So maybe that's a question. Maybe that's an insecurity for the feminine. Maybe you were heavily influenced by some very vain, judgmental feminines growing up, and that made you very insecure and feel judged all the time about your appearance. I honor the sacred nature. I honor this. We're gonna get there. I honor the sacred in nature and apply its lessons to my life. So this is calling in and reaching out for signs everywhere around you. Like everything is a sign. Sign, everywhere a sign. Nearness to nature, ... keeps the spirit sensitive to impressions not commonly felt and in touch with the unseen powers. So you and this person are you're both very tapped into the magician is. They are the alchemist of the elements. They are the elementalist, which is 4. They understand how to wield the powers of all of the elements and collect all of the information. No information is bad information. No questions are stupid questions. This is someone who's very curious, somebody who is always willing to learn. They are not set in their ways. They do not think that they know everything. You are truly knowledgeable when you admit that you know nothing, so you're always open to receive new information. You're always open to learn and discover things. And so that's going to keep this connection on a terrestrial level very interesting. You'll always be maybe exploring, maybe you'll go on lots of hikes or spend a lot of time in nature, by bodies of water. Like you might travel together, or you may just create a space that is very feng shui. Like it feels very zen. You're going to create kind of like a pocket of peace where both of you can continue to alchemize in truth. But this masculine and you coming together, feminines, because I do feel like I'm talking to the feminines here because they are the ones that feel like they're struggling. Yeah, it's like, how beautiful is everything God makes, with exclamation point. It's like being surprised by everything, being like a very childlike, excitable energy, feeling kind of like energetically aroused by all things. It's like you're the queen of Pentacles and Cups are coming out, but I'm talking about the Queen of Wands. You're on fire. Like you're ignited. This person's going to ignite you because you finally feel like you don't have to do it alone. You're not the only one, and you've got an actual partner in these crimes of passion, right? So whatever you're doing might be very societally unacceptable. So it might, be what's considered like bad in certain areas because it goes against the lower powers that be that are trying to manipulate, and they're false magicians, right? And so it's like this union is going to break a lot of mold. It's going to upset a lot of people. It's going to cause like cosmic anarchy. And but you finally have like a warrior feminines, and the masculines finally have someone who can keep their spirit will feel safe around you. So it's very sacred. And I think that both of you are going to protect this sacred union with a fierceness, because you know that this union serves a greater purpose than just, yes, it's going to be, you're going to make amazing love. It's going to be fun, you're going to laugh, you're going to play, you're going to cuddle, you're going to explore and learn, and it's going to be all of those things that are going to fuel your terrestrial human body. And but it's very sapiosexual too. It's all of it. It's all of it. That's what the divine union is. All of it. It's going to activate all of these things. But you're not going to be. Crimes of the Future is also a movie. Libra energy. I don't know what she is, but she's in blue is the warmest color. And I don't know her name either. She's a French actress. Blue is the warmest color, though. She's the one with the blue hair. But Crimes of Passion, or Crimes of, maybe that's a movie as well that can be looked at. I don't recall that. But Crimes of the Future. It's like the world is devolving into this place where it's like there's no connections made. People they're only excited or aroused or intrigued by quick hits of information, false information. They're being force-fed, and they're not even force-fed anymore. They're spoon-feeding themselves the bullshit, the lies. And it's like the world is devolving and sort of crumbling into this dystopian, very malignant space. And you're there, you and this person in this union, you are there and here to rise up. You're called to rise up. And so that's why you feel like you're under such attack, because you are. Because this is going to be a very powerful union that's going to inspire other unions. It's like the beacons are lit. You two are going to light a beacon that other twin flames are going to catch on to. And it's going to be like a mass, not hallucination, a mass. I mean, what's a hallucination anyway? But we won't get into all that. Like the brain scans of mediums and diagnosed schizophrenics are very similar. So maybe auditory hallucinations, maybe you and your person experienced these things and you thought you were delusional, you thought you were crazy, maybe you were even medicated or went to therapies, or maybe you were locked up for it. But you've always been under attack because you were tapped in. You were always tapped into this it's the breath, the whispers under the words. You see what others don't see. And you're like a transient between the veil. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. You guys are gonna have lots of fun. You're gonna laugh, and I think you'll be silly, and you'll tell dad jokes, and like it's not gonna be all heavy all the time. And that's going to be the reprieve from all of this heavy spiritual work that you are undertaking, that you claimed when you incarnated. You're like, yeah, I want to be that guy. I want to be that gal. I want to be the one doing the big stuff. But you kind of maybe have moments where you feel like I bit off more than I chew. My eyes were bigger than my stomach, like you kind of got a little bit carried away. But you didn't. You are very capable. Not only capable, you are destined to take on this purpose. Also, Tracy Chapman. Don't you know? Hold on. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution sound like a whisper. It is. You're the whisper under the words. You are the unseen. Damn. Yeah, y'all are intense. This is going to be a very intense, intimidating connection for other people that they can't handle it. You can't handle the heat of the King and the Queen of Wands and get out of the kitchen, motherfucker. But you both have been looking for this heat. You might be feeling that, like your temperature could be kind of changing a lot. That could be an indication when you're around this person, your temperature could go up. I mean, in more ways than one. I think the heat rises. Heat rises, and so shall you. So shall you both rise. And I'm getting that sense of, if you've ever been launched, right? That ride. It's called a lot of different things, but it's a human slingshot. It's usually a 2-seater, and you launch up and then you slingshot. That's what it's going to be like. It's that. A lot of people pass out on those. I love watching those videos where people, and then they wake up and they're still at the end, and they pass out again. Some people can't hang, and then the other one's like, yes. I feel like that's you and your person are the ones going, yes, you're on this ride together, you're launched up, and it's like your face is melting off and you're going up into the ethers, and it's so intense, but you're like, yes, this is what I asked for. As intense as it's going to feel, and maybe you have fears about the intensity because you're like, oh, if it gets any worse than this, I don't know if I can hang. I feel like I'm about to pass out. You could be very tired. There's a need for rest. You could be feeling like, I don't know, am I sick? Is my body ill? Your body is preparing, right? Your body is preparing, and it's telling you to rest. It's telling you to listen and cater to it and nurture it, because this shit is about to get intense. So, but you're protected, and you're not going to be doing it alone, most importantly. So, because you two are going to be in it to win it, and the other people, the other beacons. Everyone was looking to Gondor. Where was Gondor? Well, the king has come, and he is also, Aragorn is in, Viggo Mortensen is in the Crimes of the Future, right? He's the Libra that I was talking about. Although he looks like a Leo, so there could be a Leo involved here, but the Leo is the sun, and I do get this like launching towards the sun, which I've always had that vision of everybody is tethered to the sun, and we're sort of all bungee jumping, and this is where you and your person, also like astronauts, what's the movie where they have like one shot, The Martian, and he is also a Libra. Matt Damon, Team America, maybe you live in America or something with patriotism, the military, anyway, and he has one shot. Also Eminem, what is he? Is he a Gemini? So a lot of air energy as well, but it's like, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to go or grow or glow or something. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. It's going to be like a window of where you guys have to grab each other and hang on for dear life, because I think it might be a little bit rough at first. And it will in more ways than one. Like, other people are going to try and make it rough for you guys. There's going to be gossip or people that don't like it. Of course they don't like it, because that means when there's two alchemists, that's all that is change, honey. Most people don't want to change. They don't like the idea of change, right? So fuck them. But some of them will catch on. They're all bungee jumping around. They're all like bouncing around like these, they're tethered to the sun, and we all are meant to return to the sun, and all consuming. A black star, the color black old sun. Also the song Black by Pearl Jam. Sheets of empty canvas. Her legs spread out before me. Yeah, this person wants to taste it really bad. I think you will alchemize. You will alchemize a lot through sex magic together. You're not going to be casting any spells on anybody else. You're going to be casting spells unto the universe and the collective through the lovemaking that you do, because of the intensity of it. And because of the work that you've done prior to that, on your sexual energy, on your chakras, on all the shadow work that you've done, you are both divine alchemists. So it's going to be fun, but it's also going to be like the hardest work. It's going to be, but I feel like it's going to feel so easy. because I'm just laughing a lot in this, where it's kind of like, yeah, your face is going to melt off. Yeah, demons are going to be attacking you. Ha ha ha. Like, I just feel like it all feels very petty, and it's like a minor nuisance. It's not even, it ain't nothing but a thing. So, yeah. But I do feel like if you do alchemize a human child out of this union, holy shit, that child is very important to the collective. No pressure. But hey, they chose it too, that little fucker, so they can deal with it. They can deal with it. At least they, they got 2 cycle breakers as their parents and not, narcissists. So you're paving the way either way for generations. Whether you create that next generation or not, you are creating new generations, if that makes sense. And I think it does, because y'all know what you're talking about. All right. Well, blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche. That's always the lyrics. I still don't know the lyrics. I don't know if I've ever looked them up, because I like those lyrics better, I guess. Okay. I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for everybody, for your support, your interactions, your energy, just being here. I do appreciate it. And, personally and the collective, if these resonate with you, then you're going to be doing major work. So I appreciate that you guys have done the work. I appreciate those who do the work so that they can come into these unions instead of denying that you want love. Yes, you want love. That's why we incarnated. So admit it. I don't even know what I'm going to title this one. So anyway, maybe I'll start doing that, like asking for that. Actually, I'll just start it now. If you made it this far, suggest what you would title this. I'll probably just do like a blanket title, or title it untitled, pending title, or something like that. Because I think that would be interesting to know. After doing a reading, I'm like, I don't even really know what came out, what said, what I channeled, whatever. So trying to title it, especially because I don't review my videos, because I don't. So, it's kind of like, oh gosh, if I don't remember, it's hard to remember anyway. I feel like Gandalf every time. I have no memory of this place. Like, what was said here? So, yes, drop your suggestions about what you would title this video, please, in the comments. I think that would be fun. Until next time, I wish you well.